Tech workers have become the latest group to succeed in a union push, with the employees of the crowdfunding site Kickstarter voting to unionize yesterday. Engineers, designers, analysts, and customer support specialists are now represented in one of the first unions of tech workers in U.S. history.
HuffPost labor reporter Dave Jamieson has been tracking this story. He joins us now to explain more and expand on labor's role in the 2020 race. Welcome, Dave.
Good to see you,
Thanks
Dave.
for having me, guys.
So let's start with the tech angle. I thought it was interesting. So this is the first tech company that we've seen unionize workers. How has the industry writ large responded to this?
Well, the tech is generally pretty averse to unions. This is being watched closely. It's a small workforce. We're just talking about a few dozen new union members, so it's kind of a drop in the bucket. But it's a big deal because of where it happened, the industry it happened in. Kickstarter had resisted this union. There was a lot of conflict that became very public. A couple workers claimed they were retaliated against. So this was a pretty big win for unions. It's kind of it's a toehold in an industry where they've got basically no density. In tech, it's very rare to see the white-collar workers joining a union. Sometimes you'll have the building maintenance staff at Facebook or Google or whatever, but this is new and it's a big deal, and it's kind of a shot in the arm for labor.
Is it the libertarian ideology that courses through those places, or is it like the free kind bars and the nice coffee? Like, what is it that makes it so hard
Well, the libertarianism is probably a piece of it, but they're the same as basically any other business. I mean, there's basically no industry in the U.S. that's very friendly to unions outside of the public
But I mean
sector.
the workers. Like, the workers seem kind of intellectually hostile.
Yes, I mean, there's.
Did you talk to anybody who was involved?
I did, yeah.
So what was the impetus for it?
So they felt like Kickstarter kind of has a progressive image, that they try to help, groups get started and that they do good in the world, right? And so they thought it was kind of a marrying of ideals, that we want a democratic workplace, so let's bring that to Kickstarter. And they also obviously had the same kind of workplace stuff they wanted to address, like all of us. You want routine raises, lock in your benefits, that sort of thing. So that was the impetus there.
Well, I hope the Google employees don't hear about that one. But all right, so Dave, you've also tracked labor quite closely in 2020. Of course, we're looking ahead in Nevada and what's going on with the Culinary Union there. I mean, we've seen that they haven't decided to endorse. They did kind of openly attack Medicare for All. What is your feeling and maybe reporting right now on how the Culinary Union members themselves are feeling about some of the candidates?
So I think, like any union local, you're going to have a membership that's coming out for a bunch of different candidates.
Sure.
I mean, obviously the culinary leadership is not hot on Medicare for All because of this union health fund that they run that's very important to the local. I know when Bernie has been out there and speaking directly to culinary members in December, he got heckled a little bit over the Medicare for All. But he also had loud chants of Bernie. So I think a lot of people are going to like Bernie the way we've seen in other places. I mean, the union endorsement process, a lot of the big unions are kind of sitting back. They don't want to dive in the way they did in 2016, and it really blew up on them when they came out early for Hillary. But we have seen a lot of locals, come out for Bernie, and that's, I think, part of his sort of grassroots appeal. And even though the culinary is kind of undermining Bernie, even though they haven't endorsed, they've undermined him in Nevada. Bernie has won the endorsement of the largest teachers union in the state. So he does have labor on the ground there.
One of the national unions that broke that trend, IBEW, in January, was it February? January or February, came out and endorsed Joe Biden.
Very recently, actually. This was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and then just in those couple weeks, more than 1,000 Bernie supporters, members of the union, put out a petition saying, please rescind this and let the members vote. You done any reporting on this, or what happened there?
Well, I mean, what happened there is a lot of what we saw in 2016, where people felt like it was an undemocratic process. And look, to be clear, union endorsements, there's a lot of feeling among membership that it's kind of a smoky backroom thing, and these are usually decisions made.
Isn't it?
It's a decision made by an executive board in most cases, right? And so it's not a kind of one person, one vote situation. So yeah, people were upset, as a lot were in 2016, and that's why most are, I think, being very careful. Here, for whatever reason, IBEW came out for Biden when he's on the ropes. So of course you're going to have a lot of lot of cranky members.
That was an interesting one. And it's interesting, Dave, because I think, 40% of union households voted for Trump in 2016. And it was the same phenomenon where a lot of the unions unanimously backed Hillary Clinton. Are we seeing the same level of I guess what I'm trying to get at is, are these unions learning a lesson, and are they trying to incorporate what their actual members want before they start endorsing this time around?
I think they are. I think a lot of them are really chastened by what happened in 2016. They made a gamble on Hillary. It clearly did not pay off. So now most are in kind of a wait and see mode. If this continues to be like a messy primary process, I'd be really surprised if we saw the big ones jumping out kind of before we had a presumptive nominee. I mean, some unions are doing interesting stuff. The Machinists Union, they are actually doing a one-person, one-vote this time. They jumped out for Clinton. It blew up on them last time. This time they said, you know what, we're going to have everybody go to their local and vote on this.
Right.
And that's what they're going to do.
Do we know what the results are?
Not yet.
Okay,
that's happening right after Super Tuesday. So I think unions are kind of learning from what happened last time around.
How locked in are they on Democrats? If Bloomberg seizes the nomination somehow, do you think that some would stay out of it? Or some might even endorse Trump?
I think for most unions, anybody, including Bloomberg, is going to be better than Trump. I mean, what Trump has done in terms of at the Labor Department, at the National Labor Relations Board, he's just made it harder to organize new workers into unions. I think, who knows where Bloomberg lands on so much of this stuff. And of course, he had a very rocky record in New York City with unions, and he left like all these unsettled contracts when he left. But I think the sense is, okay, like anybody but Trump.
Yeah, that's very interesting. All right, Dave, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Coming up, Team Rising's debate thoughts. That's next.